My name is Lisa Lofgren. I am an artist here in Bloomington, Illinois. I have a little print shop at Come Together Space that I call Together Press. And behind me are images, are pieces, not images, from the series The Quickening that I produced, made in my studio in July of 2016 of this year. The Quickening, the body of work on display here at MCAC, came about through an interesting experience that is very common to probably a lot of artists, where I am currently pregnant, and about midway through my pregnancy was having a bit of a crisis, dramatic crisis, whether I would be an artist anymore. And to overcome that, I had a really great opportunity just to have a show. And that forced me to get back into my studio and prove to myself, and which thankfully has happened, that I can be an artist. I can accommodate for this idea of having a totally different new schedule. And I produced 17 works, 12 by 12 in size, about the size of a belly, that all talk about this experience I'm having of rethinking and transitioning into the idea of being a mother, being a working artist and mother, and all of this symbolic nature that goes along with these thoughts and inspirations that I was reading about and thinking about at that time, and referring directly to the moment, the quickening, when the baby is felt. The baby moves, the baby does something that is distinctly not a burp or some other body motion. It's another being inside of myself. So I'm very pleased to be able to share the outcome of 12 of those works in the sales gallery at McLean County Arts Center. The imagery within these 12 by 12 frames combines several different aspects of points of view of my life at that moment. The base of them all start with the same layer of 3 screens that are an abstraction of a kimono trailing down the body. And those were screen printed in different colors, one on top of the other, in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, with a collaborative work from a bunch of different students who were able to assist me in doing a large number of works in a short amount of time. And that gave me this really great basis then to be able to take all of these different colored but similar pieces and run with them to become individuals. So to do that, I added collage elements, recognizable and maybe some that are not so recognizable. I painted on them. I tried different kinds of glues and materials to see how they would adhere and respond to the screen printed element. And what I found was that I was starting to really incorporate a lot of different kinds of language. And studying at that point, I'm still on those lines, but waning a little bit more, studying Japanese, and some symbols and just these repetitive kind of habits of thinking about learning a new language came into play visually, as well as with my with speaking. So I started using those, making notes to myself of days of the week, of time passing, of little bits to help jog my memory, as well as give me source of imagery. So a lot of the painted elements that are distinctly acrylic or gouache add a bit of this language. So you'll see in the title of each piece a reference to perhaps a day of the week, or how that day of the week corresponds to an earthly element, and then the symbol that's attached to that, and then using that in a repetitive nature to kind of abstract it even more, or make it something that blends into the image as opposed to just being a symbol of itself. For example, one of the pieces is, they're all titled The Quickening, but I'm incorporating notes at the bottom or into the works as titles. So all of these little thoughts that were generated during the making of them also went into explaining the piece a little further. One, passing through trains, coming and going. This piece is based after something more earthly, something more concrete. It has these pillars at the bottom with this symbol, the yobi, at the above each pillar, that describes this earthly element of Saturday, of soil, of something very grounding. And all of these kind of thoughts then play together to me to start talking about all of these different elements of thinking about oneself and thinking about the state of, I don't even want to call it the state, but the identity of being a mom. And all of the imagery then kind of correlates to this broader notion then of what those elements could be seen as in light of the mother, in expression of bearing a child, of caring, of being a container. And many of them, to me, are a little more literal than others. Seeing something that looks like a pregnant form, something that has a smaller element of itself next to a bigger element, and these other things that are more abstractions, like these twisting knots of what I'd call little souls or little beings coming into play in the scene. Several things came about after making the work, and of course you sit and think, what do I want someone, what would be an ideal situation for someone to leave the gallery thinking or feeling. And with each piece, I was really focusing on an idea of an intimate view of a little piece of a moment of mine that could hopefully be shared, not just with the feminine aspects of being able to carry a child, but beyond that, anyone that comes through here being able to relate to. I pulled in other artists to reference. I pulled in other moments of as I talked about, language. And I hope that someone leaves with that kind of connection to that feeling of giving life, being a part of something bigger than yourself, greater than yourself. That's not just motherhood, but that is a little bit more, I'll use the word universal. And for myself, it was a great mark in a transition of mindset to be able to say, I can be still who I am, still what I want to do, and be a normal functioning mother, whatever that means. And so on that level, I hope that a lot of the women that come through here also connect in a way that could respond to the idea of being able to have that capacity to shed light on all of this imagery that comes from thinking of motherhood.